Buddha doesn't have to be a god. To me, he feels more like a friend, someone quietly staying by my side. Amitābha Buddha, probably the most well-known Buddha in China, even more famous than Shakyamuni, the founder of Buddhism. In China, people who are not Buddhist often say Amituofo, which is the Chinese version of Amitābha. It's part of our daily language, part of Chinese culture. But where did this come from? All of it started with a special branch of Buddhism, a branch that turned Buddhist philosophy into living religion, and helped Buddhism grow into one of the world's 3 major faiths. It is Pure Land Buddhism. In today's video, I want to look at Pure Land Buddhism from a psychological perspective, then talk about the relationship between reason and mysticism. But before we dive into these ideas, let's take a look at the time when it all began. Before the Pure Land movement, Buddhism in China was mostly for scholars and monks. They debated complex theories, practiced strict disciplines, and spoke a language the common people could hardly understand. Around the 5th and 6th centuries, China was torn apart by war and chaos. People lost their homes, their families, their hope. The world itself felt like a living hell. Buddhists believe that the age of declining Dharma has already begun. Then came a monk named Tanluan. He saw the despair in people's eyes and decided to bring them hope through the Buddha's teaching. He said, Amitābha Buddha knows our suffering. If we simply recite his name with faith, we can be reborn in the Pure Land. Together with his follower Daochuo, Tanluan spent his life teaching ordinary people this simple path. They debated with other monks, defended their ideas, and slowly, Pure Land Buddhism took root in China. If this story sounds a little like Christianity, you are not wrong. Both faiths believe in a higher power that can save us. Both emphasize faith. Both spread through calling a sacred name. And both promise a paradise at the end of life. But deep down, they are very different. Christianity focuses on relationships, love, forgiveness, human connection. Pure Land Buddhism, on the other hand, is more like a method, a spiritual technology. In a world where life is suffering and self-power is weak, it offers a simple, hopeful way forward. Call the Buddha's name, and it's all we need to get out from suffering. We don't need any monks or even other believers to help us. In the age of chaos, Tanluan offered an existential theory to every Chinese person. Pure Land Buddhism speaks directly to our 4 biggest existential struggles: death, meaning, loneliness, and freedom. First, death. Pure Land teaching don't see death as an end, but as a transition, a journey from the impure world to the pure one. They replace the word death with rebirth, giving people a sense of direction and peace instead of fear. Second, meaning. When life feels empty or pointless, Pure Land practice gives a clear purpose. Through calling Amitābha's name, we are reborn in the Pure Land, realize enlightenment, and help others awake too. Every call, every daily act becomes part of this greater meaning. It gives people a deeper sense of value and direction in life. Third, loneliness. Human life is lonely by nature, but Amitābha's infinite light shines through the whole universe. When we call his name, we feel that connection, as if someone somewhere truly listens. Fourth, freedom and responsibility. Pure Land Buddhism never forces anyone to believe. Every path, even other religions, can lead to truth. But when we choose to trust Amitābha, we no longer carry every burden alone. We hand part of its weight to compassion itself, and suddenly life feels lighter. Pure Land Buddhism, in this sense, solved the existential crisis for ordinary Chinese people. It transformed Buddhism from lofty philosophy into a living religion of hope. Of course, not everyone liked it. Many monks from the other schools attacked Pure Land teachings, calling them too simple, too emotional. The debates went for decades. And yet, after 3 generations of the great masters, Pure Land Buddhism finally secured its place within the Buddhist world. If other schools carried the Buddha's wisdom, Pure Land Buddhism carried its compassion, his deep sorrow for human suffering, and its boundless love for all beings. There are things in Buddhism that the science just cannot explain. We call it 神通. In English, it is supernatural power or divine abilities. And honestly, because I've experienced some of them myself, I cannot deny they exist. Through studying Buddhism, I've also realized that many of its ideas have already been proven by modern science. But still, I could never fully devote myself to the religion. My rational mind just won't let me hand over all my trust to faith. For a while, that really bothered me. I kept wondering, am I too skeptical to be spiritual? But later, I started to understand something. The Buddha doesn't have to be a god. To me, he feels more like a friend, someone quietly staying by my side, so I don't feel so alone, so I don't feel so lost, so I have the courage to face whatever I'm struggling with. And they will never be angry just because I don't kneel in front of them. After all, what kind of Buddha would be that petty? Faith and reason are not enemies. If we can hold them in balance within our hearts, maybe there's a new door open for us. I'm Little Bamboo Yayue. I want to share these ideas with you in my own voice. If you'd like to hear more about Chinese philosophy, subscribe and stay connected. See you next time.